Does anybody remember when Seth MacFarlane was funny? I really have to go back to the late 90s with the first couple of episodes, and I can't believe that it's actually been that long, but it really was if you go back and take a look. But the first couple of seasons of Family Guy, that was fantastic. He had every opportunity to just go ahead and take those comedy reins, but no. Instead of being funny, instead of being successful, he just wanted to be loved. And I guess if you want longevity in Hollywood, you gotta do stuff like this. Seth MacFarlane, Shills for mainstream media, says he would defend to death the presence and existence of journalists. Which ones? As he claims Fox News are in it for the money. Right, what is this? 2000? Yeah, this is 2024. And you're trying to hold up Fox News as the big bad boogeyman, and you think that anybody outside of the boomers that are never going to hear your comments are going to stick up for the Murdoch boys? Yeah. It goes to show you just how out of touch most celebrities are. Jesus, Seth, give it up, man. Family Guy and Orville creator, Seth MacFarlane. But come on, man, he also made American Dad, which, oh good, biting commentary to go ahead and dunk on George Bush ideals in the late 2000s. Oh, really cutting edge stuff that you have right there, but never want to give him credit for the creation of the Cleveland show, huh? Racist, has made several ludicrous statements in the past regarding pretty much any subject that helps him push left-wing ideals, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to see him blatantly shilling for mainstream media journalists. Exactly. Like his traitorous tactics to go ahead and betray funny, I would put right up there with Judd Apatow, hand in hand with killing the genre of comedy. Both of them had the opportunity to do something great, to really take up from the Mike Myers, Adam Sandlers, that really bolstered the best period, I would say, especially in a mainstream sense, the best time for comedy on the silver screen, and then they drove it directly into the ground. I've been very vocal about my opposition to the 40-year-old virgin and those types of movies. I've already seen them as cynical cash grabs and nothing more than meta-commentary that would age like milk on a radiator. Seth MacFarlane going from biting and hilarious jokes to on both sides of the equation to simply shilling for the agenda, well, that's just as egregious. In a resurfaced interview with rapper Logic, MacFarlane praised journalists who have earned a college degree as he unashamedly singles out Fox News and claims that they're only in it for the money. Yeah, people who major in journalism. Oh good, you have the praise of Seth MacFarlane. Hopefully that offsets the crippling student debt that you're just gnawing away at while you're writing Orange Man Bad articles for, I would say, Vice or BuzzFeed News or Kotaku or anything, really. But all of those places, well, they're kind of cutting back, so at least Seth, at least the voice of Stewie has your back. Agreeing to everything Hull said about journalists, he declared social media comes in and, I think journalists are incredible. That's nice, because I think now that we're living in a time of decentralized information, and the fact that, you don't have to hold a degree in order to present information. People can go ahead, if they don't agree with you off rip, you can be fact-checked. You can crowdsource information. And hell, a lot of people that bring up said information do better work at checking their references than anybody with some superfluous degree. Somebody who writes an entire article about how much you suck, but they went to college, got a degree, earned it, and take the time through things that don't particularly like about it. Amazing, okay? But when you give that same power to every person in the universe with a Twitter account, has that ever affected you? Yeah, you have people okay, cool. Like if there was a comment section, okay, for Family Guy episodes on Fox, I have no idea. Their streaming service, I don't even know where you can get Family Guy streaming. I have the first few seasons, sorry. I got my box sets that are down there. Like I said, I was a fan of the original run. The moment that it came back, I remember that reboot episode, and I was like, oh, this is not very good at all now, is it? But those first 3 seasons, it's excellent stuff. It still holds up. MacFarlane replied, you just said it more eloquently than I ever could. It's true. I will defend to the death the presence and existence of journalists. But yeah, like I was saying before, if there's like a comment section underneath your stuff, you're going to get the same quality of criticism from a random asshole online that you are likely to get from a random asshole with a journalism degree. The pool has just gotten bigger. The pool of people with opinions hasn't gotten any better. It hasn't gotten any worse. There's just more of them that are out there, and it's up to you to sift through them. So this whole appeal to authority, this whole credentialism argument, it doesn't hold any water with with me. It's silly. The quality of the argument will stand regardless of a possession of a piece of paper. Just call it what it is. The way I look at it, when you look at the New York Times article on Instagram, right. Writing social media and its ability to give more people voices, then now you're just looking at mainstream media on social media. Okay, cool. But you'll look at the headline, you read it, and you click on the link, and you read the story. Yeah, because the likes of the New York Times has never been known to mislead with clickbaiting. Of course not. He elaborated that story, whether you agree with it or not, whether you connect with it or not, has been written by somebody who did the research. Oh, really? It's not like the New York Times hasn't very famously had to come back and retract a story like, oh, I don't know how they were completely and totally wrong. Or I don't know how you could be wrong about the Hunter Biden laptop because you had access to it and you directly turned it down in order to try to, I think this is probably a little bit more accurate, lie about it. No. They did the research on that and they just decided to turn the other cheek. But they did the work. They did the footwork. They put in hours to at least make an attempt to communicate the truth to their audience. How can you unironically say that in the 21st century about the New York Times? Get off of it. And yeah, they're not perfect, you know. MacFarlane continued adding, they're not Fox, before he was interrupted by the interviewer who said, they're just an opinion. To which MacFarlane agreed, noting they're not perfect. They make mistakes. They do make their share of mistakes. There are retractions. Oh, yes. There are admissions of that. Exactly. But they know. They put out the bombastic headline knowing that it's going to get 10 times the coverage that a small retraction days later when the subject is no longer in the news cycle will get. That's how fake news perpetuates and permeates the culture. That's what separates Fox News. Exactly. It's not like, the people who write for Fox News, a mainstream media outlet, don't have journalism degrees. So how do you reconcile that point? Oh, right. You're a lefty. Fox News is in it for the dough. It's as simple as I can put it. Unbelievable. They're in it for the money. They make a lot of money and they get a lot of views. Is it worth it? To me, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Unbelievable. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I just sold my soul out. Clicks and views and for adherence to the mainstream narrative. Wow, this is kind of crazy. Even more interesting, albeit unsurprising, given how irredeemably woke he is, MacFarlane went on to promise that the news articles should not allow readers to leave a comment under the informative written piece that they just read. There you go. This is the elitism that is an underlying problem with many prominent lefties. They claim to be about the working class. They claim to champion impoverished issues, but at the end of the day, they want all the people that they want to be seen helping. They want them kept at arm's length away. Crazy, man. I have a bad take, but I don't want anybody to be able to refute my bad take because you haven't been to school long enough. When you are a legitimate... when you look at legitimate journalism, what makes legitimate journalism? Whatever I say is legitimate. I just go back to what I said. You look at the New York Times article on Instagram, you look at the comments and everybody thinks that they're an expert. Yeah, maybe because they have contrary information. Maybe they have statistics, facts, and figures that can go ahead and either bolster or tear down the central argument of the article. But no. You don't need to do that because the New York Times, they did the legwork. Shut up, pleb. Everybody thinks that they know better than the person who did the legwork. And again, that's presupposing a hell of a lot of this stuff. Everybody thinks that they know better than the person who put in the hours, did the research, did the interviews, did the follow-up, did the best that they could to make sure that everything that they put into print is factual. I can't believe that he's unironically saying this about the New York bloody Times. And maybe they missed something. Maybe they effed up, but they did their best. And then he declared, and then, me, Johnny Spaghetti Stain on his shirt, writes a comment. Oh yeah, exactly. Just go ahead and dismiss the people as the dumbest among us. That's bullshit. It's shocking to me that any press outlet just, they consent to comments under there. Exactly. We should be able to tell and dictate to you from on high what the correct opinion is. Nobody should be allowed to push back. But I thought at the outset, that's what the Fifth Estate, that's what journalism was supposed to do. It was supposed to be the disinfectant. It was supposed to be the sunlight to come in and elucidate an issue. But no. Seth MacFarlane wants to go back to the darkness of night. He wants to go back to the leftist veneer that is just draped across the land because, too many of his own little pet bugaboos have had holes poked in the membrane holding up his ideology. I would say it's sad. I would say that it was disappointing, but I've been disappointed by Seth MacFarlane longer than he's been relevant. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.